So this tutorial is going to go along with the glitch tutorial. Hopefully I can go a little bit slower for you and not leave you behind maybe as much as the other video. But both will be there just in case. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up your image. I know he created a new image and then dragged it over. I think you can still just open up your image. So if you were to just go to File, Open, find the image that you wanted to use, and then double click on that, open it up. And we should have this. So you can use any image that you want for this one. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to right click on the text of this layer that's there, and you're going to go to Convert to Smart Object. So it should look something like this. And then your next step is we need to duplicate that. So you're going to hit Control J. And then we should have a copy of our smart object layer. So then what we were going to do, we can go ahead and turn off the top layer. And then we're going to highlight the bottom layer. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add 3 wave filters to this. So for the first one, we're going to go Filter, Distort, and then Wave. And then what we need to make sure is that this first number is 1. And then the next one is going to be 1. And then 570. And then 1, 30, and 100, and then 1. And we want to make sure that it's square and repeat edge pixels. So go ahead and hit pause right here so you can make sure you get those numbers in there if you need to. All right, so once you have all of those numbers in, go ahead and hit OK. And we should see that it pops up right down there. We have the smart filters, wave. And we're going to go back to Filter, Distort, and then Wave again. And then this time we want this top number is always going to be 1, and it's always going to be square and repeat edges. So the only ones from here on out that should change are these ones in here. But the wave length, we're going to go for the minimum. We're going to go 2, and then 300, 2, 300, and then 10 to 1. So go ahead and hit pause right here in case you may need to catch up. All right, so once you have those numbers in, go ahead and hit OK. And then we're going to go one last time. We're going to go to Filter, Distort, and Wave. And then we are going to put in 463, 545, 232, 352, then 5 to 1. So go ahead and hit pause right here. All right, so once you have those numbers in, go ahead and hit OK. And then, so we have this. One thing you can do if you want it to look a little bit cleaner, you can close this by clicking this little arrow right here. And then from there, you are going to go to your fill adjustment layer, and you're going to go to black and white. So we're just going to convert that to black and white. You can click on these double arrows to kind of push that back in. He adds a texture here. You can if you want. You don't necessarily need to. When I've done it, I haven't really noticed the texture all that much. But if you wanted to look up any texture, I guess, that you want, but he uses like a black dirt type texture. It's up to you. So after this, what we want to do is we want to click on our group tool, And then we are going to make a copy of the top layer. So we're going to hit Control J. We're going to move that copy into the group. Go ahead and turn it on. And we are going to go ahead and hit D on your keyboard just to make sure that your swatches, if you can see where my cursor is at, are black and white. So that's a shortcut to just change it back to default black and white right here. And then you are going to go to Filter Gallery. And then you are going to go to Sketch. And then Halftone Pattern. And then we want these numbers. So 1, 0, and we want to change the dot to line. And then after you have those, I'll give you a second, go ahead and hit OK. So 1, 0, and line. So we should have something that looks like this. And then we're going to go ahead and copy this layer. So we're going to go ahead and hit Control J, which we can close these two. So we should have, let me make my layers palette maybe a little bit bigger. So you can see my layers palette better. Okay, so your layers palette should look something like this. So we have in our group those two right here. We've made a copy of this layer. We're going to click on the bottom layer, and we're going to blend that down with darken. So if we change this blending mode from normal to darken, and then we are going to click on the top layer, and we're going to add a wave. So Filter, Distort, and Wave. And then these numbers are going to be 1 at the top as usual, and then 1 to 999, and then 332 to 820, and 21 to 1. So go ahead and hit pause right here. Okay, once you have those numbers in, go ahead and hit OK. So we should have something like this. If yours doesn't look exactly like mine, that's okay. It's all dependent on the size of your photograph and stuff like that. And then what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and add a fill adjustment layer of a solid color. So we're going to come right down here. If you can see where my cursor's at, it's a little half circle thing. And we're going to go right up to the top, and we're going to click on solid color. He uses a red. I'll give you that code. You can use whatever color you want, but if you want the red, it's 41616. You should get a red color. And then we're going to go ahead and hit OK after you've found the color that you would want. And then we are going to change this blending mode down with darken again. And then we are going to click on the group, and we're going to change that from pass through to lighten. So we should get something along this line. So we're starting to see somewhat of a glitch effect. So we can go ahead and close this folder. Make sure that the group is still highlighted. And then we're going to hit Control J so we can copy that group. And then we're going to open that one up. We are going to open this layer 0, copy 3. That's what mine says. We're going to open that top layer within that group up, and we're going to double click on that wave. We're going to change the numbers for this one. So it's going to be 1 at the top, and then 156, 630, 47, 271, and 17. So go ahead and hit pause so you can catch up there. All right, so once you've had those numbers put in, go ahead and hit OK. And then we're going to go ahead and change this red color. He uses a green. Again, I have the code for that. If you can use whatever color you want. But if you want to go with the red and green, it's going to be 27B and then 314. And you can go ahead and close that. If you need to move any of these around, you can always click on one of those. Click on this layer, and you should click on this layer and then hit Control T. For that little message, it's just saying that for the temporary, it's after the transform is placed. Then it'll go back. You just go ahead and hit OK if that pops up. You can move it over to the right. You can move it over to the left. You could have one over to the left, one over to the right. Then you would hit Enter, and then so you can move those on either group. You would just click on the top one of those layers and hit Control T, and then move it over. You could use the arrows on your keyboard to move it. It's up to you. So your last step is going to be to go to your fill adjustment layer again, and then we're going to go to color lookup, and we're going to change this top one to crisp warm dot look. So if you can see where my cursor's at right there, go ahead and click on that one, and then it kind of maybe brightens it up a little bit, add some contrast, and then you can save it.